Ruth and Boaz, a love redeemed, the untold origin of King David. Ruth's journey was one of loss, loyalty, and faith. A foreigner in Bethlehem, she clung to Naomi, her mother-in-law, trusting in the God she had come to know. As they arrived in the land, uncertainty loomed, but hope remained.
When my husband died, my world crumbled. The weight of grief pressed upon my chest, making each step feel heavy. Naomi had lost her sons and husband too. She urged me to return to my people, but how could I abandon her? She was my family, my guide. I never expected that I would find myself here, gleaning in the fields of a stranger, in a foreign land, trying to gather enough for Naomi and me. The burden of widowhood weighed heavily on my shoulders, but I was determined to honor my mother-in-law. I didn't know where to begin, but I had to take the first step. Today, I was hoping for something, anything, to change. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. So, I journeyed with her to Bethlehem, uncertain of the future, but trusting in the God she served.
With no means to provide for themselves, Ruth took the humbling task of gathering leftover grain in the fields. This was where her path crossed with Boaz, a man of honor and generosity.
That day I noticed a woman among the gleaners. She worked tirelessly, her hands quick and precise. My overseer informed me she was Ruth, the Moabite who had come with Naomi. The sacrifices she had made stirred something within me. "Stay in my fields," I told her gently. "Drink from my workers' jars and gather without fear." She looked at me with a mixture of gratitude and surprise. When she asked why I showed her kindness, I replied, "I have heard of your devotion to Naomi. May the Lord reward you."
Touched by his kindness, Ruth continued to work in Boaz's fields, unaware that he was more than just a kind landowner. He was a kinsman redeemer. Naomi saw the hand of God in these events and guided Ruth in taking a bold step.
That evening, I brought home more grain than I expected. Naomi's eyes widened with recognition when I told her whose field I had gleaned in. "Boaz," I said, feeling a strange warmth at the name. A knowing smile crossed her lips. "He is our kinsman redeemer," she said. My heart pounded. Had God led me to him for a purpose? Naomi encouraged me to seek Boaz as our redeemer, guiding me to approach him at the threshing floor. The night was quiet, the air thick with anticipation. As he slept, I crept closer and lay at his feet. When he woke, startled, I whispered, "Spread your covering over me, for you are my redeemer." My heart raced as I waited for his response.
Her words humbled and honored me. "You have shown great kindness, choosing me over younger men. I will do all that you ask." But duty required me to settle the matter properly. Another had the first right to redeem Naomi's land.
Boaz wasted no time. The next morning, he met with the elders and the rightful redeemer. When the man learned that the redemption included marriage to Ruth, he declined. With joy, Boaz publicly claimed his right.
Before the elders, I declared, "Today I take Ruth as my wife." As I spoke the words, my heart swelled with a mix of honor and deep affection. This was not merely a duty. I desired her, respected her, and admired her unwavering faith and kindness. When she stood beside me, her eyes filled with emotion, I knew that our journey together was divinely ordained.
When Boaz took my hand, I felt a sense of belonging I hadn't known since my husband's passing. His touch was firm yet gentle, his presence reassuring. As we exchanged vows, I saw the kindness in his eyes, the security in his promise. This was a new beginning, a life filled with hope, faith, and love.
In their union, God provided restoration. But their love story did not simply end with a vow. Ruth and Boaz learned to navigate life together, growing in trust and understanding.
The first days of our marriage felt like a dream. Boaz was gentle, patient, and always mindful of my feelings. Yet, as a foreigner in Bethlehem, I feared whispers behind my back. Would they truly accept me? But Boaz reassured me with each act of kindness, with every time he called me his wife, before others.
Marriage to Ruth was more than a duty. It was a blessing I cherished each day. Her strength, her faith, and the way she cared for Naomi filled our home with warmth. I saw how she hesitated sometimes, as if doubting her place among my people, so I made sure she never had to question her worth. She was my wife, my partner, my love.
Time passed, and their bond deepened. Then, one day, Ruth received news that would change their lives forever.
When I felt the first signs of life within me, my heart swelled with both joy and fear. Would I be a good mother? Boaz held me close, his voice steady. This child is a blessing, Ruth. Just as you are.
And so, in time, God blessed them with a son, Obed, bringing joy back into Naomi's heart. Their love was not born from fleeting passion, but from faithfulness, respect, and divine purpose.
Boaz and I married, and with time God blessed us with a son, Obed. When I held him in my arms, I felt the weight of my past sorrows melt away. Naomi cradled him with joy, her once bitter heart renewed with hope. We had been redeemed, not just in name, but in love and purpose.
Looking at Ruth and our son, I knew that God's plans were greater than any we could have imagined. What had begun as an act of kindness had become the foundation of a family built on faith. The woman who once gleaned in my fields was now my wife, my partner, my greatest blessing.
What began in loss ended in blessing. Through faith and obedience, God turned sorrow into joy, weaving Ruth and Boaz into his divine plan. Their son Obed would grow to become the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David, the great king of Israel. David, the shepherd who would slay giants and lead his people with a heart after God, became a cornerstone of Israel's history. From this lineage, generations later, would come the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ, who would bring salvation to the world. Ruth and Boaz's love story was not just their own, it was a thread in the grand tapestry of God's redemption, showing how acts of faith and love can echo through eternity, shaping the future in ways only God can orchestrate.